Can you see the slide movement? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Yes,
Hello,
ma'am.
student. Can you see the slide movements?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So in the last class, okay, as you already know, we have studied something related to what we call it as control statements. I'll just show you the things before I proceed with. Okay, so we have studied the if statement, we have studied the if else statement, nested if else statement, and cascaded if statement. Along with that, we studied something called as the multi-way selection statement. So these are the two things that we have studied in the last class. On that basis, we'll go ahead with okay some of the experiments that you people can carry out in the laboratory. Okay, so now I'll be explaining the same thing now. Okay, but all the things, whatever explanation, whatever program we are going to write today, okay, so that purely based, dependent on only the conditional statements there. And whatever you people have studied on that basis only, you have to write the programs there. Okay. So this is, I think maybe the fifth program, okay, because this is purely depends on the, what we call it as the if else statement, okay, or the else if ladder there, okay. So that's why I have chosen this. Okay, so you may ask why you have not started with the first one, because I felt this is easy compared to the first, programs there. Okay, so afterwards we'll be visiting the, maybe this third program, fourth program, and so on, right? Okay, so now this is, I feel this is the easiest program, that's why I started with this. Okay, so now I'll show you the list of the programs before I proceed with, okay. Okay, can you see the list of programs? Hello? Hello?
Yes,
Hello,
ma'am.
student? Okay, so now I said I'll be talking about this first, and this is already told to you people. All right, so familiar with the computer hardware and the programming environment. Okay, so I've shown you each and everything in the first module itself, and how to execute the program, how to store the program, everything is mentioned to you people. And I have given you the, the stuff related to, okay, theory related to this experiment also. And I have posted it. Okay, I request you people to start writing the journals also on a plain paper. If you don't have a journal paper, no issue. You write it on the papers. Okay, so because it may help you in future also, right? So I suggest you people so start writing the journals also side by side. Okay, so now instead of going ahead with these things, so I'll talk about these things, right? First, this experiment. Okay, so now this I'm going to do. You have actually part A and part B here, all right? So part A has got less weightage compared to part B there. Okay, so you people can, I think if it is written there, I'll just show it to you. Okay, part A, so procedure and conduction, okay, and plus YY. If you look at this, 30 marks is dedicated for part A, and for part B, 70 marks is dedicated. Okay, so if you look at part A procedure, it is carrying 4 marks. Conduction, that is execution of that program, carries you 21 marks. Okay, and Viva marks gives you 5 marks there. So totally 30 marks. Okay, I don't think 30 marks is going to give you the marks or fetch you the marks, that is passing marks there. Okay, so for the lab, you have to have minimum 40 marks for the passing. Okay, so that you have to take care. Okay, so now if you go ahead with the part B experiment, okay, so now in part B, so you have the again procedure is carrying 10 marks, conduction of that carries you 49 marks, and the conduction, viva of this is giving you 11 marks there. So totally, okay, so 70 marks is fetched for the part B there. Okay, for part A it is 30 marks, for part B it is 70 marks. Right? Okay, so with this, so let's go ahead with the fifth experiment. I'll be explaining the same thing to you all now. Okay, proceed with that. So look at the problem statement that is given to us. An electricity board charges the following rates for the use of electricity. Okay, so now you have, okay, so you have already electricity. Okay, so that's what we call it as electricity bills. Okay, so we are interested to generate the electricity bills. It purely depends on the generation, the consumption of the electricity there. Okay, so if you are able to tell how many units you have consumed at your home, so depending on that, we are able to give you the bill there. So that's what you are writing the program for. Right, so you are reading the meter there. So after reading the meter, it will say that something like you have consumed 100 units, 140 units, 150 units, 200 units, something like that. Okay, so now depending on how many units you have consumed, so they have the different charges associated with the units there. So that you have to imply there, or that you have to use there to calculate the final electricity bill. So what are the charges that they are giving, are they adopting for the individual units? So that is given in the problem statement. So according to that, we have to write the solution here. Okay, this is the problem statement that is given to you people. So according to this problem statement, you have to provide the solution. So I already mentioned, first don't directly jump to write the program there. First try to give the solution with the help of either algorithm or the flowchart or a pseudocode. Then you translate the algorithm or the flowchart or the pseudocode to the program there. Okay, this is a best habit and you have to adopt this, okay, as a part of the computer science engineers. Okay, this is a best habit that usually one has to adopt. Okay, and this is my suggestion also to everybody. So let's look into the problem statement first before we proceed with the solution of that. Okay, so now look at this. So electricity, okay, so for the first 200 units, okay, so 0 to, okay, 0 to 200 units, so it is 80 paisa. So that is given to us. Okay, so 80 paisa means per unit you have to pay 80 paisa, still 200 units, so per unit charge is 80 paisa only. Okay, for the next 100 units, that is 201 to 300 units. Okay, so this is beyond this 200 units because we already know for 0 to 200 units, okay, so per unit we are paying 80 paisa. Okay, per unit you are paying 80 paisa, right? But after 200 units, if it is crossed to 200 units, till, okay, 100 more units, that is 201 to 300 units. So how much you have to pay? You have to pay 90 paisa. Okay, for the first 100 units, 0 to 200, you are paying 80 paisa per unit. Okay, from 201 to 300 units, right, you are paying 90 paisa per unit. Okay, I hope I'm making it clear to everybody. So this is very important. This is how you have to do the analysis of the given problem. So beyond 300 units, okay, so if it is crossing 300 units, so I'll write it as 300 unit onwards. Okay, so 300 unit onwards, beyond 300 units. Okay, so 1 rupee per unit. So how much you have to pay? So you have to pay 1 rupee, okay, 1 rupee per unit. This is what you have to pay. All users are charged a minimum of 100 rupees meter charge. Okay, whether you consume the electricity, whether you are not consuming the electricity, but you have to pay minimum 100 rupees. Okay, this 100 rupees we call it as a meter charge. Okay, this is for everybody who is using the electricity, who is not at all using the electricity, but they have deployed with the what we call it as the meter, electricity meter at the home there. Okay, minimum 100 rupees they have to pay. So we call it as a meter charge. If the total amount is more than 400 rupees, Okay, after once I tell these are the number of units that I have consumed there, right? So once you calculate the total amount I have to pay there, right? So if it is crossing 400 rupees, then what they are saying, then an additional surcharges of 15% of the total amount is charged there. Okay, if it is crossing 400 rupees, please remember, if it is more than 400 rupees, then what you have to pay? So you have to pay 15% extra for this 400 rupees. Okay, so if I have taken something like I got total amount as something like 500 rupees, then 15% of this is 500 into 15%. So how much is this? How much is this? 45 rupees? How much? 45, 55? 75 rupees. How much? 15 paisa? Hello?
75.
75, no? Okay. So even though you are supposed to pay only 500 rupees, you are not paying only 500 rupees. You have to pay 75 rupees extra there.
75 rupees.
Okay. So 575 rupees that you have to pay. So this is 15% extra on the amount if it is crossing 400 rupees. Okay. If it is less than 400 rupees, no need to pay a 15% extra there. Okay, that's what they have mentioned here. So write a program to read the name. Okay, you are supposed to write a program which is going to help you to read the name of the user, along with that the number of units that they have consumed. Okay, so how many units they have consumed, they have to mention here. Okay, then finally it has to print the total amount we have to pay for the as the electrical bill there. So any doubt in this particular problem statement? So if you have any doubts, you first, before only you discuss about that, then we'll go ahead with the solution. So if you don't open your mouth, what should I assume? Whether you have understood or not understood anything.
No doubts.
No doubts. You have understood. Okay, now can you tell me what is the logic that we people can use behind this? Any one of you, please.
Nested if else. Nested if else.
Nested if else. Is it nested if else? Check it out.
Ladder.
Nested if.
Nested, ma'am.
Little louder. I didn't get what you said. What I'm supposed to use? Is it nested if else?
No, ma'am.
No. What else? What else I have to use?
Switch case, ma'am.
Switch case. The switch case is going to give you the result here.
Then we will go with nested if only.
Nested if, I don't think it is going to give you the solution because I'm not checking multiple conditions there. I know
Ladder.
the range there. Very good. We have to use ladder, else if ladder. So else if ladder is going to help you to find this because some range is given to you people. Correct, no?
Why can't
Is
we use
range is
nested
given?
if, ma'am?
Pardon?
Why can't we use nested if?
Nested if I have to check multiple conditions. Am I checking multiple conditions here? No, I'm not checking for multiple conditions. I have range here. So first range is okay. So 0 to 200 range. They are telling me to you have to pay 80 paisa per unit. If it is 201 to 300 units, then I have to pay something like 90 paisa per unit. If it is more than 300, okay, then I'll write 301. So it is 1 rupee per unit. So this is what is given. If this kind of a ranges are given, so it is better to go ahead with the LCF ladder there. So you have done with the grading system, no? Grading, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? So there we have used the LCF ladder only.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? Okay, because I have to check for this. Okay, so now I'll be checking this on one particular condition there. Okay, if it is true, I'll go ahead with this particular stuff. Then if it is not true, then I'll check for this range. Okay, after if this is not true means I'll check for this condition. So I'm not just leaving at else there. So in else also I'm checking for this condition. So that's why I go ahead with the else if ladder there. Nested if means, so I have to check for one condition. If this is true, again I have to check for one more condition. Okay, so now here, if this condition is not true, so there is no, if it is this condition is true, is there anything that I have to check for?
No, ma'am.
No. So that's why I'll not go ahead with the nested if. If I have one more condition that I need to check, then I'll think of going ahead with that.
Okay.
Right? Okay. Next. How do you calculate the amount now? So I have to calculate the amount. How do I write the charges? So total charges that you have to pay.
Multiplying per unit with
Per unit with?
total
So I'll
units.
read the unit. Okay, I'll read the units. So that I'll be multiplying with, so whatever charges that I am supposed to pay there. Correct, no? So unit charge, charge, sorry, I mean charge per unit. Correct, no? 80 paisa or 90 paisa or 1 rupee. Correct, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
adding
Right,
100
so,
rupees for that.
yes. So this is charge per, okay, I'll write this as charge per, okay, unit, charge per unit plus 100. This 100 is minimum, this you have to pay, whether you are consuming the electricity or no, minimum this you have to pay. So 100 rupees. Is it okay? Is that okay to everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So along with this, I wanted to say one more thing. So if it is 0 to 200, then this is going to work fine. Okay. If I say, so I've my whatever unit I have given, it is 230. Okay. I have given unit charges or unit as 230. So how much do you pay for this? What is your analysis for this before we proceed with writing this? If let's assume you have consumed 230 units. Okay, as an electrician, how much I have to charge? First 100 rupees I am charging. There is no issue in that. Next.
What? 200 into 80 plus.
Okay, 200 for 200 units I have to charge 80 paisa, and for 30 units
30.
I have to charge 90 paisa.
90%.
Is it okay? This is okay with everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? If it is something like, okay, more than 300, so let's assume 330 units. In that case,
For 200, we charge 80.
okay, 200 you are charging 80 paisa.
Then beyond the 100, I am charging 90 paisa.
So next for 100 you are charging 90 paisa.
30 into 1.
And
Very
30
good.
into 1.
So 30 into
1 rupee.
1 rupee. Okay. Now I've given these values here. So on that basis you are writing these things. If this is not given, I'll simply write unit. So in that case, how do you write this general equation?
Repeat, ma'am.
So here I am telling, okay, so it is 230 units, this is 330 units that I am consuming. So on that basis, you people are writing these things. Correct, no? You are saying it is 200 into 0.8 plus 30 into 90 paisa, and here 200 plus 100 plus 30. If I give simply unit here, okay, instead of giving 330 or 230, if I simply give unit, then how do you write the total charges?
Only 100 rupees.
First 100 rupees, okay.
Only 100, ma'am.
Only
Unit
100.
means,
Why?
isn't it only 1 unit?
Who said? In it I'll be reading because it is asking me to read. Okay, write a program to read the name of the user and the number of units consumed. So that's what I'm reading here. I may read anything. I may read it as 400. I may read it as 100. I may read it as 220, 240, 360, something like that. So how do I write the equation for that?
X into 80 plus
What is X? What is X? Hello? Hello? Are you getting what I am asking to you all?
Yes.
Madam, please ask the question once again.
Okay, so now I'll be reading the units. Correct?
Yes,
Are you
ma'am.
asking me, are you telling me to read the units here?
Yes,
It is
ma'am.
told me, okay, you have to read the units. Depending on the number of units that you have consumed there, it has to generate the bill there. Correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
Yes,
Then
ma'am.
how do you write the formula? That's what I am asking. Here I gave example to you all, okay, how it is going to change or how it is going to, how we are going to get the charges there. Okay, 100 plus 200 into 80 plus 80 paisa plus 30 into 90 if it is 230. If it is 330, 100 plus 200 into 80 plus 80 paisa plus 100 into 90 paisa plus 30 into 1 rupee. Correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Correct, no? Right. So now I've read only in it. I really don't know what is this value is. Then how do I write the formula?
Number of units into amount per unit.
Very good.
We can
Right?
declare.
Right. So unit plus okay number of units. I mean charge per unit. That's what you are supposed to write. And this is going to change depending on where you are placing this equation. If you are writing it under the if statement, what condition you have placed, so depending on that, this particular equation is going to change. I hope I am making it clear. Okay, because the first
Yes, ma'am.
case is 0 to 200. For 0 to 200, whatever unit we are entering, okay, I'll simply write unit multiplied by unit per charge. Sorry, charge per unit. Okay, whatever charge they are paying 80 paisa or something like that, you can directly write that also, there is no issue. Okay, because if it is true, then only I'll be taking that units. Okay, so how much unit that is they have mentioned there. Okay, so then I'll be multiplying it by 8 there. Okay, so now whatever unit they have read here. Okay, so now I know that it is less than 200 if it is entering into a if statement. Correct, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Correct.
yes, ma'am.
If it is true means whatever range that I have entered, it is less than or equal to 200, maximum 200, not more than that. Because if it is true, true means range is 0 to 200. Is it crossing 200 there?
No,
Is it
ma'am.
crossing? No, no.
No, ma'am.
Correct. So that's why I'll write simply this equation. What is that? 100 plus unit into 0.8. Clear? Is that clear, student?
Yes, ma'am.
So please don't hesitate to ask the questions. If you have any doubts, please ask me. There is no issue. So now, if I take here, if, okay, so I'll simply write the range. Afterwards, you people can actually write the equation. So range is 0 to 200. So I have to tell you the amount, how much amount you are supposed to pay, right? So amount is equal to, I'll be writing 100, minimum 100 you have to pay. So plus how much? So whatever unit that you have consumed into 80 paisa. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Else if. else if is, shall write the range as 201 to 300.
300.
Correct? Now what is the amount that you are supposed to calculate here?
100
100
plus unit plus 0.89, ma'am.
So that is not going to work here. Okay, first, because it is 200 to 300 here. Okay, so now for first 200 units, I have to pay 80 paisa. Then left out unit, because if I enter it as something like 230 units there, okay, only for 30 units I have to pay
0.9.
0.9. So that's what I am writing here. Unit minus this 200. Is it okay?
Ma'am, repeat.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now
Yes,
look.
ma'am.
So for 200, so I have to pay only 80 paisa.
Yes, ma'am.
Correct. So when I am going to enter into this, first you tell me that.
Greater than 200.
Correct. So unit is 200. So let me take it as 200. So then only I'll go to else if, no? Then
Yes,
only
ma'am.
I'll go to else if, no? Right? Okay. So now in this case, for 200, I'll be paying only 80 paisa.
Yes, ma'am.
Correct. So left out is how much?
40 into
40.
0.9.
40. So how do I get that? How do I
Into
get that?
0.9.
40
How do
into
I get
0.9.
200
40?
minus 40.
Correct, no? So I'll be getting that 240 minus 200. So this 200 is known to me, but this is given as unit here. So unit minus 200 is going to give me, so how much left out in it? That is more than 200 units. Is that
Yes, ma'am.
clear? Right? So that is paid with, or that is charged with 90 paisa. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So now else. What is else part of this now? What is else part of this? What is false condition of this if? What is false condition of this? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
What is false condition of this?
Only rupees 100.
This is unit. This is not 100 rupees or 200. Okay, so this is the unit that I am entering here. Okay, so unit range is 0 to 200. What is false condition of this that I am asking?
Beyond 200.
Beyond
Beyond
200?
200.
Correct, na?
Yes, ma'am.
So what is the else condition of this else if?
Beyond
Beyond 300.
300, ma'am.
Is it agreeable?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Is
ma'am.
it unit is beyond 300 that you have consumed there?
Yes,
No,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Is it no?
Yes, ma'am.
Then what is the else part of this then?
Ma'am, above 300.
Above 300 only, no?
Yes, ma'am.
So else means it is false of this. False of this means it is not in the range of 201 to 300. So then it should be greater than, because if it is lesser than, it could have, I could have gone for this if only. Then I am in the else if means it is not, I mean it should be in the range of 201 to 300, but it is not in the range means it has to cross 300 only. That is what is the false condition of this. So this
Yes,
else
ma'am.
is false of this, false of this. So whatever amount unit you have entered here, it is not in the range of 0 to 200. It is not in the range of 201 to 300. Then it should be greater than.
300.
Is it acceptable?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Right? Okay. So in that case, what is the amount that you have to write here?
100 plus
100 plus
200 into 0.8.
200 into 0.8 plus
100 into 0.9
Very good. Plus
plus what the lefted amount of
left. How do you find the left amount?
Unit minus 300.
Very good.
300
Unit minus
minus
300 is going to give you the left out amount and sorry, left out unit there. And this
Unit.
is multiplied with,
1 rupee.
is that
1.
okay? Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this is what is going to come under the LCF ladder. And you got the amount here. So any doubt in finding the amount? If you enter the units there, do you have any doubt in entering the, finding the amount there?
No, ma'am.
No? Okay. So whatever amount you got, either through this or through this or through this. Okay. So they have mentioned one more stuff. What they have mentioned? So look into that also. What they
Greater
have
than
mentioned? Okay. So total amount is greater than 400 rupees. So once you come out of the LCF ladder, there also you are not ending. Okay. Still they are telling you people check whatever amount you have calculated. Is it greater than 400 or what? If it is greater than 400,
additional charges.
additional charges you have to pay. Okay, whatever amount you have calculated, if it is greater than 400 rupees, then the total amount you have to pay is equal to amount that you have calculated plus amount into 15%. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is what you have to
Yes,
pay.
ma'am.
If it is lesser than, then you'll be paying only total amount as amount itself. So no need of paying an extra amount there. Is it okay to everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So let's go ahead
Yeah,
with the algorithm. Okay. So I'll show you the algorithm now. So what is the input that you are going to read for this?
Units consumed.
Very good. Along with that, what else it has
Amount per
asked?
unit.
Amount per unit it is already given. I can directly use that inside the program or inside the algorithm.
Name of a user.
Very good. Name of the user. How do I begin with an algorithm? How to start an algorithm?
Step 0, start.
Very good. Okay. So step 1 I have taken start. Step 2 you have to read name and the unit consumed. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead with next. Okay. For all minimum charges of rupees
100.
100. It's a meter charge. Correct? Whether you
Yes,
consume, you don't consume, 100 rupees minimum 100 rupees that you have to pay. Correct?
yes, ma'am.
Right.
Yes,
Now
ma'am.
I'll write. If unit is less than or equal to 200. Is it okay? So if you want to write the
Yes.
range for that, you people can write instead of this. Okay, so I'll write it here. Okay. If, okay, unit greater than or equal to 0 and unit, okay, less than or equal to 200. So this is also fine. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? Okay, so how
Yes,
much
ma'am.
amount you have to pay?
0.8
0.8 paisa.
per unit.
Correct? So now is it okay? Charge is equal to unit into how much unit you have given. Maybe you have given 90 unit or 150 units there, or maybe 0 unit there. So how much unit you have given multiplied by 0.8 plus 100. Is it
100.
okay? Clear?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So then else if less than 300, because the false condition of this is what?
Beyond 200.
Greater
Beyond
than
300,
200.
no? It is not less than 200. Correct? It is greater than 200 only. That is false condition of this. Correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So now I'll go ahead with this. If you want to write like this also, people can write if unit greater than or equal to 201 and unit less than or equal to 300. It
300.
is left. Right?
Yes.
All right. So now how do I write the charge?
Unit into 0.8 plus.
Is this okay? Is this okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is 200 into 0.8, that is yielding me 160, that I have directly written here. This is for first 200 units. So above 200 units, it's 90 paisa. Okay, I have to find it out before I multiply that with the 90 paisa. Is this okay?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Right, so plus 100 is common. Next, else part of this, it is beyond 300, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So for 200 unit, it is charging 80 paisa, that is 160 rupees. And for unit between 200 to 300, you have to pay 90 paisa, that is 90 rupees. Okay.
Yes.
Plus, okay, beyond 300, you have to pay 1 rupee. So that we are going to write here. So this is for first 200 units. This is beyond 200 but less than 300, and this is minimum meter charge, and the left out unit you have to pay 1 rupee. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Okay. So now this is all about the finding the amount charge. Then once you get the charge, what you are supposed to check now?
Whether it is in less than or equal to 400 or greater.
Correct? Okay, so that's what we are
Yes.
going to check. If the charge is greater than or equal to 400, it is left you people equal to you want to take or no. Okay, if you want to take equal to, take equal to. If it is, if you want to take beyond 400 rupees, you write it as greater than only. Okay. So charge is greater than or equal to 400 rupees, then 15% extra you have to pay on the total charges. Correct?
Yes, ma'am.
How do I write? If charge greater than 400 rupees, right? What do I do? Charge plus charge into a 15. That is
Yes,
15 divided by 100 is 0.15. Is this okay? This is the
yes, ma'am.
extra surcharge that I have to pay. When do I pay? If the total amount that I got is greater than 400 rupees. So along with 400 rupees, I have to charge the extra amount here. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Else? Else? If it is not greater than 400 rupees.
Only amount.
Only
We
amount.
have.
Okay, so whatever charge you have calculated over here, so that is the final amount. So maybe because of this or maybe previous value, whatever charges you have calculated here. Okay, so maybe this charge or maybe this charge or maybe this charge here, right? Because we really don't know how many units that we have entered there, right? So depending on that, this charge is going to change there. If this charge is lesser than 400 rupees, then I'll be paying only the charge that I have calculated there. Otherwise, I have to pay an extra 15% there. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? So that's what I am displaying at the end. So any doubt regarding this? This is the end of the algorithm. Any doubt regarding this? Make it fast. Speak it out. Do you have any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Okay. No, so now let's go ahead with the program. So it is the simple thing. Again, hash include. So which are the variables that you are going to use inside this?
Units, ma'am. Units
Units.
and
Okay. Character, I have written it as name. Okay, it's a string over here because I have written in front of this in the square braces. I have written the value there. Okay, so now this is telling us it's a string here, right? Percentage, yes, I have to use to read a string there. Okay, so floating point value, unit and a charge. So how much unit you have consumed there, that you have to mention there. Is it okay? Is it okay? Say something. Hello? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let's ask the end user to read the name along with the unit consumed there. Right, so we are saying the same thing, percentage yes to read the name there. Okay, percentage yes to read the name and percentage F to read the units, number of units. Okay, and I have already mentioned if you are reading a string, no need of usage of the ampersand before the variable. But if you are reading floating point value or the integer value, you have to compulsorily use the ampersand. If you don't use ampersand, it never throws error, but it never accepts the data also that you are giving from the keyboard. Clear, students?
Yes, ma'am.
So let's go ahead with, we have read the units now. So then we'll check for this condition. Whatever algorithm I have written, I have just translated into program, right? So I am calculating the charge here. Charge is equal to unit into 0.8 plus 100, right? So if it is lesser than or equal to 200, if it is lesser than 300, then charge is equal to charge, sorry, unit minus 200 into 90 paisa plus 160 for the first 200 units plus 100 rupees is minimum meter charge. So whatever algorithm I have written there, I have just translated into program. There is no change at all. Clear? I have used the proper
Yes, ma'am.
syntax, that's all. You have to use the proper syntax of C language, you can write it. Okay, here again charge is equal to unit minus 300 into 1 plus 160 plus 90 plus 100. So this is for the, okay, first 200 units, this is for the next 100 units, and this is the minimum charge, and this is above 300 units. So now I have ended with my else if ladder there. Then I'll check for whether the charge is greater than 400 there. If it is greater than, it's a simple if that I have used here, right? So charge is equal to, or the total amount that you have to pay, charge is equal to charge plus charge into 0.15. This is 15% extra you have to pay on the total amount. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it okay? So this is simple if that I have used. It's a simple if, there is no else part for this. Because if it is greater than, then only I'll be calculating. If it is lesser than, are you calculating any extra charges for it?
No, ma'am.
No. So no, there is no need of going ahead with the else part. Okay. So this is how you people can play with the multiple, conditional statement whenever you write the program there. So I'm using the else if ladder. I'm using the simple if to write the program here. Clear? Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, go ahead with this. So finally we are going to print charge, right, and the name and the total amount that you have to pay. And this is the return 0 because I have started with the int main there, and close of the main, end of the main. Is it okay? Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so
Yes,
I'll
ma'am.
just, okay, so now here I have sample output also, but I'll show it to you people using the program itself. Just show you the, I'll run the program and I'll show it to people. Okay, this is a program. Okay, so I'll try to write, okay, only 2 digits after decimal point. I'll write it as 0.2. Okay, so you already know why I'm writing that. Okay, so there is no issue in this. So I'll compile, I'll run this. Okay, it is asking me to enter the name. Give any name. Okay, let me write my name itself. Karuna. Okay, so in unit consumed. So what you wanted to enter, you check for all the conditions, right? So I'll write lesser than 200 units. Is it okay? Is that okay?
Yes,
Hello? Okay, so write some unit there. Okay, so I'll enter the units lesser than 200. So I'll write this as 100, okay, 50 units. Is it lesser than 200 units? So what is the amount that you are supposed to pay for this? Anyone, can you calculate and can you tell me? So I've entered 150 units. Use your calculators and try to tell me what is the answer that you people can expect. Hello?
120.
120. Is it 120? Is it 120?
Yes,
Is
ma'am.
it one? Huh? How much?
220. 220.
Some students are saying 220. Some students are saying, okay, let's check it out. Okay. So it is totally 150 units, correct? 150 units multiplied by, okay, so how much
0.8.
I have to pay? 0.8, correct? So this is the total amount plus 100 minimum 100 rupees that I have to pay, I'll be paying that. So I have to pay 220 rupees. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So let's
Yes,
check it out.
ma'am.
Is it giving me the same answer or no? Is it giving me the same answer?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? Is it working fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So let's go ahead with another example. Okay, so unit consumed. First I'll write the name KKK. Okay. Next. Beyond 200. So let me write it as 240. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So now
Yes,
what is
ma'am.
your expectation for this? Calculate fast. 160 plus 100 plus 40 into 90 paisa.
296.
296.
296. Shall we
Yes,
check?
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. Is it 296? Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Is it
ma'am.
okay? Right? Okay. Let's go ahead with the next one. So again, let me enter. Okay. Okay. So beyond 300, so I'll be writing it as 350. Right? Okay. So what is your expectation for this? 350. So 160 plus 90 plus 100 plus 50 into 1 rupee. How much?
319, ma'am.
How much?
319, ma'am.
160. I'll write 160 plus 90 rupees plus 100 rupees plus 50 rupees. Correct, no?
Yes, ma'am.
It is 400. Is it 400?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, it
Yes,
is
ma'am.
400. Correct? So I expect it to be 400. Is it okay? So it is not calculating the surcharge because if it is crossing 400, then only I told it to calculate the extra charges. Correct, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So now let's look into that also. So I'll write again. Let me take. So instead of 350, I'll write it as 360. So what is your answer for 360 now? I think it is 410.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? 410 plus 15% extra charge that you have to pay. How much? $410 multiplied by 0.15 equal to plus 410 rupees. How much is this? How much is this? Is it 471.5?
Yes, ma'am.
Right, so let's check it out. Are you getting the same answer?
Yes, ma'am.
Right, so this is how we have to work it out. So problem will be given to you people like that, right? So you have to go through each and every statement. According to that, you have to write the algorithm there. Okay, I hope I made it clear. In the upcoming laboratory, you have to, okay, come prepared for the, doing the experiments. Along with that, so whatever examples I have solved in the class, you have to execute those things on your systems. Okay, so now I'll not be saying anything. So in the lab, you have to execute the programs now onwards. So this is the one of the program. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am.
So any query related to this? These are some of the examples that I've shown you also. These are the examples. Okay, there I have not used the, okay, point 2 there. That's why it's showing those many zeros there, right? Okay, you have to take the output for all the samples. Okay, so give how I have given variety of inputs there. All right, so in that case also it has to work fine. So I forgot to show you one more example there. Okay, I'll show it to people that also. If I give the, amount as some, the consumed unit is 0. So minimum charge I have to pay
100.
100. Is it showing correctly?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. This is how you have to show each and every output properly. Okay. If it is not working for any of one case also, then that program is not acceptable. So whatever example they are giving, whatever units they are specifying there, so for every unit it has to work properly. And I have shown it for all the cases. Okay, and it is working fine. So in this way you have to write the algorithms or the programs. So any doubt regarding this?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, here we have not mentioned the number of digits after the decimal point. No? So then why did it stop after?
Pardon? I mentioned here. You look at this. I mentioned here. Point 2. I have mentioned only 2 digits because I know that charge is in terms of rupees. Okay, so rupees will be, okay, so taking only 2 digits after decimal point. That's why I mentioned it as 0.2 there.
Okay.
Okay. So any doubt? Hello. Do you have any doubts, students? So if any doubts, you people can ask me before I close my session.